Who are the self-appointed gatekeepers of history? History doesn't just have missing pages. It has missing epochs. Entire ages of humanity erased so cleanly that most people never realize anything is gone. We grow up believing civilization began in Sumer, that writing emerged in Mesopotamia, that Egypt rose suddenly and mysteriously, and that humanity spent hundreds of thousands of years as wandering nomads before suddenly deciding to build pyramids, cities, and monuments aligned to stars. But what if this story isn't just incomplete, it's deliberate? They believe knowledge of our hidden history could destabilize the world. The academics and elites have always worked toward keeping this hidden, and we want to know why. It begins with a simple observation. Ancient civilizations did not start simple. They started advanced. Everywhere on Earth, the birth of civilization arrives fully formed, sophisticated, inexplicable. The first temples were megalithic. The first cities were astronomical. The first languages were complete. The first monuments were mathematically perfect. Humanity didn't struggle up from the mud. Humanity inherited something, a spark, a memory, a blueprint. And the deeper you dig, the more impossible coincidences begin to form a pattern, one that points to a world before our world, a civilization before all civilizations, destroyed not by time, but by a global cataclysm that forced humanity to begin again. Let's start with the evidence they tried hardest to erase. Throughout the late 1800s and early 1900s, farmers, miners, ranchers, and explorers across North America uncovered enormous human skeletons, some 7, 8, even 9 feet tall, with skulls elongated naturally, not artificially bound. Newspapers reported these discoveries extensively. Museums sent representatives, and in almost every case, the Smithsonian arrived shortly after, confiscated the bones, and issued statements claiming no record existed. Witnesses described entire wagons of bones taken away and never displayed. In 1990, a former Smithsonian employee anonymously admitted that thousands of anomalous remains were destroyed to avoid rewriting human history. The institution denies this, of course, but patterns don't lie. Every time a discovery threatened the timeline, a government agency, usually the Smithsonian, stepped in, removed the evidence, and declared it irrelevant. But skeletons were only the beginning. In 1968, miners in South Africa unearthed metallic spheres buried in rock strata over 2 billion years old. Perfectly shaped, grooved, engineered, scientists called them anomalous artifacts, then quietly labeled them natural formations when the implications became too dangerous. In the 1970s, workers in Oklahoma discovered a vast network of limestone rooms and corridors 90 feet underground, carved with precision, lit from shafts, engineered as if they were part of a massive subterranean complex. Geologists dated the surrounding rock to hundreds of millions of years old. Instead of rewriting textbooks, authorities sealed the site and declared it a misinterpretation of natural geology. And then there's the map problem. Ancient maps, some thousands of years older than modern navigation, depict coastlines we shouldn't have known about. The Peary Race map shows Antarctica before it was covered in ice. The Orangefine map shows subglacial mountain ranges we only discovered with modern sonar. The Boache map outlines land masses now deep underwater. These aren't coincidences. They're fingerprints. Fingerprints of a globe-spanning civilization that existed long before our recorded history began. One capable of precise cartography, advanced architecture, astronomical alignment, and engineering techniques we still can't replicate. Now consider this. Sea levels during the last ice age were more than 400 feet lower than today. Entire continents of land now submerged would have been habitable. Coastal cities, ports, temples, and monuments we've never seen lie buried beneath the ocean. And when sonar reveals something the timeline cannot explain, like the massive grid-like formations discovered near Cuba in 2001, sitting 2,000 feet underwater, The discovery is suppressed. The researchers were silenced. The site was restricted. The story was buried. Ask yourself why. Because the moment the public realizes a global civilization existed before the last melt, the entire academic timeline collapses. Every expert loses authority. Every institution loses legitimacy. Every government loses control. But we don't need underwater ruins to prove the existence of the old world. We just need to look at the megaliths, because they don't belong to us. They belong to whoever came before. Göbekli Tepe 12,000-year-old pillars, carved with astronomical precision, appear suddenly, with no evolutionary development. You don't go from hunter-gatherers to advanced stone architecture overnight. Either someone taught them, or someone left those structures behind. Sacsayhuaman in Peru features stones weighing more than 100 tons, carved with angles so perfect that not even modern tools can replicate the seams. The Inca said they didn't build it, they inherited it. The Osirian in Egypt sits underneath the Temple of Seti. The upper temple is precise, elegant, decorated. The Osirian beneath it is cyclopean massive, aged, eroded, and far older. Even Egyptologists quietly admit the foundation is tens of thousands of years older than pharaonic civilization. Pumapunku's precision stonework looks like computer-guided machining. The cuts are too clean, the angles too perfect, the symmetry too exact. We cannot reproduce it with today's tools, yet we claim Stone Age people carved it with copper chisels. Every megalithic structure on Earth shares the same characteristics: extreme age, astronomical alignment, impossible engineering, and sudden appearance with no developmental stages behind it. As if a prior civilization left behind the last remnants of its knowledge monuments, built not for worship, but for survival, for memory, for warning. What kind of world existed before the flood? And what destroyed it? Scientists studying ancient ice cores from Greenland have found radioactive signatures that match neither volcanic eruptions nor meteor impacts. These signatures suggest technological activity, something involving high-energy output, long before humans were supposed to have any technology. Something happened 12 to 13,000 years ago that violently reset the planet. Temperatures dropped, ice sheets melted catastrophically, sea levels surged, species vanished, cultures scattered, and almost every ancient myth on Earth remembers it, not as a metaphor, but as a memory. The Egyptians spoke of the first time, Zep Tepi, when gods walked the earth and built mighty structures before a great flood wiped them away. The Sumerians told of sky beings who taught early humans before a massive deluge destroyed an earlier world. The Greeks wrote of the golden race, a perfect civilization destroyed in a single cataclysm. The Maya remembered previous ages ending in fire and flood. The Hopi described the destruction of the Third World. The Vedas speak of cyclical destructions, technological wars, and forgotten ages. All these stories sound different, but they are describing the same event, the end of the Old World. The destruction of a civilization far older and more advanced than our own. And here is where everything becomes undeniable. Geneticists, quietly and away from public scrutiny, have discovered something extraordinary inside our DNA. Sequences that appear out of place, orphan segments, insertions that do not match Neanderthal, Denisovan, or Homo sapiens evolution. Something altered humanity long ago. Something intervened. One geneticist's notes, never published, but leaked through a colleague, described an ancient population that appears technologically advanced, then suddenly fragmented. His final line is chilling. They didn't die. They withdrew. Withdrew to where? Ancient cultures say they retreated to the mountains, to underground cities, to remote islands, to the sky. Some say they went beneath the oceans. Others say they departed the earth entirely. But whatever they did, traces of them remain. Fragments in our myths, in our DNA, in the ruins, in the symbols carved across continents, and in the forbidden artifacts hidden inside government vaults. This brings us to the darkest part of the hidden timeline: the black budget recovery teams. Whenever something threatens the accepted timeline, an anomalous skeleton, an impossible tool, a structure beneath the ice, these teams arrive first. They carry no insignias. They work under no university. They answer to no nation. Their job is singular: extract the evidence before anyone can study it. In eastern Turkey, construction workers discovered a stone chamber carved with pre-flood symbols. Radios went silent. The military appeared. The land was purchased by a shell company. The hillside was sealed. In the Himalayas, a megalithic wall protruded from melting ice. Before researchers could arrive, helicopters transported personnel who removed fragments and closed the region. In the Amazon, vast geometric earthworks older than human agriculture were discovered. Funding disappeared. Investigations halted. The region was declared a conservation zone, off limits to further study. What are these teams collecting, and why? Because they know the truth. Humanity is not the first advanced civilization. We are the survivors of the last one. The old world was global, connected, technologically capable, architecturally masterful, astronomically precise. And when it fell, survivors preserved fragments of knowledge fragments that kickstarted Egypt, Sumer, the Maya, the Indus Valley, and the megalithic builders of Peru. This explains the greatest mystery of all: why civilizations appear suddenly at their peak, why early dynasties knew advanced astronomy, why the oldest structures are the most advanced, why myths describe teachers descending from the sky after the flood. Those teachers weren't gods. They were survivors. But here's the part the elites fear most. Every ancient myth says the cycle repeats. Civilizations rise. Civilizations fall. And certain forces, the keepers, the watchers, the architects, intervene when humanity reaches a certain level of knowledge. Electricity, computers, quantum mechanics, space travel, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering. We are rising fast, too fast. The last time humanity advanced to this level, the world was reset. And the elites, those who guard the old knowledge, are desperately trying to prevent the public from realizing how close we are to crossing the same threshold. Because if we remember the last civilization, we will ask what destroyed it. If we realize survivors existed, we will ask where they are now. If we understand the cycle, we will recognize the symptoms. And if we know the truth, we will stop trusting the institutions that have lied to us for centuries. The missing civilization didn't vanish. It was erased. Its ruins lie underwater. Its symbols lie on megaliths. Its warnings lie in myth. Its remnants lie in our DNA. Its survivors left traces. And the elites have been gathering those traces piece by piece, hiding them from the world. Because the moment humanity remembers its past, everything changes. We stop believing we are primitive. We stop trusting false timelines. We stop accepting the limits placed on us. We stop fearing the unknown. We start asking who came before us and who might return. This is why they protect the timeline. This is why discoveries vanish. This is why excavations are sealed, artifacts are confiscated, and anomalies are dismissed. Not because the truth is unbelievable, because the truth is too believable. Humanity has been here before, more advanced, more unified, more powerful. And something, whether cosmic, engineered, or intentional, wiped that world away. The old civilization left warnings. They left structures designed to survive water, fire, ice, and time. They left myths encoded as memory. They left maps of a world that no longer exists. They left symbols we still don't understand. They left fragments waiting to be rediscovered. And some believe they left more than that. Some believe they left a promise to return when humanity reaches the same level they once achieved, a promise to intervene when the cycle reaches its tipping point, a promise that the keepers, the survivors, the watchers of the first world will reappear during the dawn of the next age. And as our technology accelerates, as our world destabilizes, as climate, war, and artificial intelligence push us toward another reset, those old prophecies feel less like myth and more like memory. The truth is simple and terrifying. We are not the beginning. We are the continuation. We are the second attempt. And the first attempt left instructions hidden, scattered, suppressed, waiting for the moment we were finally ready to see them. The elites know this. They've always known. And they will do anything to stop humanity from remembering who we truly are. But once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. The ruins speak, the DNA speaks, the myths speak, the symbols speak, the stars speak, and the silence of institutions reveals everything. The fog of the hidden timeline begins to clear. Humanity's first civilization rose. It fell. It warned us. We ignored it. They erased it. But the truth always returns. And now, so will we.